My fellow Americans, I want you to know a lot of people are commenting that Trump's speech made him look like a president and that he did a good job. Words can be elegant. He may have very well had the Democrats clap for the infrastructure idea. He may have a few ideas that are good or that seemingly you and I can agree on. But make no mistake, the battle plan must stay in force. His policies and his executive orders, he has not canceled them out. He has not rescinded them. So even though the words may sound okay or eloquent or elegant, the actions that it is going to have on our nation and the consequences it's going to have even on you and your family, that doesn't change. The fact that there are people that are immigrants, legal or illegal, their families are being separated. Many of these people are being treated inhumanely. What is the crime? Coming to another country like your forefathers and ancestors did, legally or otherwise? And how many of you could go into a court of law and say with absolute certainty that every one of your ancestors came legally, came through Ellis Island or whatever means? Can you be 100% sure? What if they did? Does it make it any less important to the parent that comes over from Mexico or wherever they come from for a better life, for at least as good a life as we have, as far as them taking our jobs? I wonder if every Mexican, every illegal immigrant of all nations were to leave this nation. I wonder about the holes in the economy. I wonder about the holes in jobs. And the fact is, there are many employers around the entire United States that have many high-paying jobs. But we have fallen so far back and far behind in our educational system that the jobs are there, but Americans are no longer qualified. And that is a horrible statement. Who's at fault? I would say, for one, the 114th and the 113th Congresses, and maybe even the 111th and 12th. During Barack Obama's 8 years, they did not work with him. They didn't help education for any American, really, and they're not going to now. If anything, more Americans will lose their jobs. And these other jobs will become unfilled, still remain unfilled. Now, you might think I'm just giving you information off the wall, but this has been on and documented on the news. Employers of high-end technological jobs are saying they can't even fill the ranks. We simply don't have the qualifications. Now, as an American and as a human being, that really upsets me. We, for over 150 years or more, probably a good 200, we have been amongst the smartest, most technological and technologically advanced. We've been the inventors, the creators, the starting these service industries. We've been the leader. Now we've fallen behind due to our poor education system. And there's a lot of fault there. There's a lot of fault from academia, of the left side of the political spectrum and the right. But today, I come to you March the 1st and say to you the battle plan, more than ever, because of Trump's speech, more than ever, we must follow the battle plan. The $50 must come out of your weekly budget. Now, I read an article from Yahoo. I read, frankly, only about less than a paragraph. It said that the speech, I did not get to watch it, for the record, because I was so busy doing other things. But it had the speaking and the sound of a nationalistic America First. A nationalistic America First speech. And he also spoke about illegal immigration. America First and nationalism. And he blamed a lot of our problems on immigration. That should send so many red flags up to you that it would never stop. And you might say, well, why? That is the words, almost verbatim, in many of Adolf Hitler's speeches that he used. He blamed it on immigrants, but also on the Jews and others. And it was a nationalist movement that started and kept the Nazi Party, and eventually World War II. And as a result, 100 million people died. 100 million. So these words that Trump spoke, you may think they're elegant, and indeed they may be. But he spoke the words and the mannerisms of an actual Nazi. So when people say that Trump is a fascist, Trump is a dictator, Trump is a Nazi, he used his own speech and said these words. I urge every person in America, think twice about who you may like. Think twice about what you may think of this man. Maybe you're softening your stance. I am hardening mine. The time is now to face the facts. A nationalistic speech like that, blaming it on illegal or legal immigrants, calling them criminals, the words of a dictator, and very similar to Adolf Hitler. You may think that I am going a little bit too far. To you, I say I'm not going far enough. I will not have my nation become a fascist, police state, martial law nation. So you can either join me in this battle plan, or you can get ready to say Heil Trump. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but neither did Adolf's rise. Don't believe me. Go to your search engines. Go to your YouTubes. Listen to history. And maybe you want to talk to some Jewish families that have ancestors that died. When we have a man in the White House speaking in the same lines, on the same lines of a Nazi, this is critical condition. You don't like it? Neither do I. But unlike most of you, I am doing this battle plan. Some will say it's because I came up with the idea. No. I'm doing this for every American. And by the way, every one of those immigrants that were sent home, the families that were torn apart, the racism, the sexism, the xenophobia, and all of that. Guess what? Hitler had elements of those things too. History will tell you what happened. Over about 100 million people died. America used to be the champion of right, what is right, and of justice. America and Americans fought and died to fight against dictators, against Hitler, Mussolini, and the Emperor of Japan, back in the day when they were not good people. Now, America indeed may be the worst of all time, because we have some of the most powerful weapons and the best military on the face of the earth. I ask you, what happens if our military turns on another country? Or worse, what if our own military, Coast Guard and National Guard, turns on you?